Welcome back to our third day for summer learning. We're still talking sea turtles this week, and we're still talking three-dimensional shapes for math today. So we're going to start off today with math. We're going to flip-flop from yesterday. So who remembers what made a 3D shape different yesterday than a regular 2D shape? What was different about them? Keandra?
That 2D could lay down.
Yeah, that's a really good way to word it. So a 2D shape can lay flat down. It's a flat shape like a square or a triangle, but a 3D shape, those are ones that stand up. So this is kind of like a sphere, like yesterday, like a ball. This is something I can hold in my hand, but if I had just a flat circle, I can still hold it, but when I hold it sideways, you can see it's just flat. It doesn't have any height to it, whereas a sphere, it definitely does. Okay, so good way to define. We're gonna talk about our 3D shapes and give 3 new words today. The 3 new words are, I don't know if we can see them. Let me move this camera over a little bit. There we go. The first one are faces, edges, and vertices, or a single would be a vertex. So I'm going to show you, I was a little creative last night. I made a cube out of marshmallows, sticky notes, and straws. So I wanted to do it this way to show you the different parts of a 3-dimensional shape. So the first one, and it doesn't have to just be a cube, it could be a prism or a cylinder. They all share a certain attributes, okay? So these are the mathematical terms for some of these. So the first one is a face. A face is one of the sides of your shape. It's usually one of the polygons, so it could be a square or a rectangle. Sometimes we have bases that might be circles, like on a cylinder. So faces are your sides. The marshmallows here, it was really hard to write on a marshmallow, but if you look real close, a marshmallow is called a vertex. So if you look at my cube, it's a little wiggly because it's made of marshmallows. If you look at my cube, how many faces are there? How many sides are on a cube? What do you think? Count them up. How many faces on a cube? Somewhere I have my dice too. How many faces on a die? Keandra, how many?
4.
Not 4. You have the front and back, the right and left, and a top and bottom. That's 6 sides. So any 3D cube or rectangular prism, these always have 6 faces. Okay? Just gonna okay. Alright, so we have 6 faces on my cube. Okay? Now, if I'm looking at my vertices, these are my corners. So a vertice is where all of your straws, which we'll talk about that word next, all of your straws meet. How many vertices, how many marshmallows are on, it's hard to hold it, so maybe I'll turn it this way. How many marshmallows on my cube? Can you hold it up with your fingers so I can see? How many marshmallows? I see some of you have it. Okay, there's 8 of them. There's 4 marshmallows on the top and 4 marshmallows on the bottom. If you have a cube or a rectangular prism, which do I have one? Sure. Here's the rock painting box. This is also a rectangular prism because it has rectangles all connected with others. All types of rectangular prisms and cubes have 8 vertices. Always has to be the same. It always has to have 4 on top and 4 on the bottom. Now the next special word is called an edge. The straws I made in orange so you could see them extra special. Edges are where 2 faces meet, okay? So each straw is an edge. So So let's take a look. I have 4 straws on the top, 4 straws going down the sides, and 4 around the bottom. What's 4 plus 4 plus 4? 4 plus 4 plus 4. Let's unmute Keandra. You gotta unmute, Keandra.
11,
One more than that.
12,
12, you got it. So anytime you have a rectangular prism, anytime you have a cube, you will always have 6 faces, 8 vertices, and 12 edges. Okay, so the faces are the least amount, the vertices are the next biggest, and the edges are the most. That has the most in it. So let's think of a different shape. I'm going to show you a special one. Give me 1 second. It's behind my curtain. This is a shape that we didn't see yesterday. It's actually a speaker. But what is the shape on the bottom? What shape is that? Is it a rectangle? Is it a rectangular prism? Do you see a rectangle here? No. Caden, what shape is that? If it has 3 sides.
I know it.
3-sided. Let's say you had a bicycle, but instead of 2 wheels for a bicycle, you had 3. What would you call that? Who remembers?
Oh, triangle?
Yeah, it's a triangle. So because this flat bottom is a triangle, if I hold it on its side, you can see these are connected with 3 rectangles. This is a rectangular prism. So we're going to do the same counting. The faces are going to be the top and bottom triangles, and the 3 that connect. What's 2 plus 3? How many faces on this triangular? Let me unmute everybody. All right, everybody should be able to unmute. How many faces, Gemma? 2 plus 3.
5.
5 faces on a triangular prism. You got it. And then let's see. So Caden, there are vertices here, here, and here. So 3 on the top. I'll put my fingers there. And here, here, and here. 3 on the bottom. What's 3 plus 3, Caden? How many vertices? 6. All right, Keandra, you got the tricky one. There's 3 edges on the top, 3 edges down the side, and 3 along the bottom. So 3 plus 3 plus 3.
9.
9 edges. So this triangular prism has a little bit less because it only has triangles on the sides. It's not like your square or your rectangular prism because it has less sides on each of the bases. These are called bases. That's how you know how to name a prism. So if this was an octagon instead, it would be an octagonal prism, like a stop sign. And they have shapes like that sometimes. Sometimes it's like a cookie tin, you can see. So all of the edges, faces, and vertices change depending upon what shapes you have. Okay? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, my little drawing here, I'm not going to eat it because I was touching it and I wrote on it with marker a little bit. But if you have to remember, the faces are your polygon flat sides, your vertices are the marshmallows where their edges meet. Okay, so your vertices are like your corners, and your edges are the straws. Those are the outside lines of each face, okay? Faces, edges, and vertices. And you guys are getting ready for 3rd grade, learning all of this new vocabulary. You guys are doing really, really great. Okie dokie. Now, I have a trick. Here's my sphere again. Are there any faces, vertices, or edges on a sphere? No, there's not. This sphere only has one whole curvy side. It doesn't have any polygons on the outside. There's no squares on the side, no triangles or anything like that. So a sphere's a little bit different. If I broke my sphere in half, like our planet, so we could have a top and a bottom, this is actually half of it. It's called a hemisphere. So you have different shapes as well that are 3D that sometimes they might not have faces, vertices, and edges. It's only if they're all flat shapes, okay? What about if I had a cylinder again? Does a cylinder have any faces? If you remember, yesterday we talked about how around a cylinder, it's one big rectangle, okay? So you have circles on the top and bottom, a big rectangle wrapped around. So there's two long edges that connect our shapes. But there's no vertices here, okay? There's no points, there's no corners on a cylinder. So sometimes you have to be very careful to know what's in your shapes, okay? No, we don't have anything in a sphere, nothing in a hemisphere. But if we have a dice or a die, here we only have one, it has your basic 6 faces, okay, 8 vertices, and 12 edges. So anytime you have a box or a cube, those are your same measurements all the time. It doesn't matter how big your box is or how little baby tiny it is, it will always have those same measurements, okay? Pretty awesome. So we even learned some new ones today. We talked about a hemisphere and a triangular prism, which I was happy we had this speaker because sometimes that's a hard shape to find. All right, pretty good with math. Now, yesterday you guys did so good solving our equations. Today I wanted to use my 2 dice and see if we could add up the 4 numbers that are inside these dice. Are you ready? So I'm gonna roll them and I'm gonna tell you what the 4 numbers are. And you have to add those 4 numbers. If you have your whiteboard from your bag, do you have your whiteboard you can write on? That might be helpful. Or even a piece of paper if you have your notebook. Okay, give you a minute to get your materials situated. And then what you can do is you can hold it up so I can see it.
What do you have to get again?
You have your whiteboard and a whiteboard marker. Make sure it's a whiteboard marker, one that you can erase. It doesn't matter which side of the whiteboard. You can use whichever one's easiest. All right, are we ready? All right, Caden, you're gonna start us off. So I'm gonna roll the dice. I'll tell you your 4 numbers, and then you're going to add them up. Ready? All right, Caden, your numbers are 5 plus 1 plus 5 plus 6. Those are big ones. So 5 plus 1 plus 5 plus 6. And Keandra and Gemma, I want you to think about, is his answer correct? See if he's right. We're going to give him a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And then Caden, when you're ready, you just unmute. 17? Girls, thumbs up or thumbs down? 5 plus 1 plus 5 plus 6. What's 5 and 5 make? Yeah, thumbs up. I see it, Caden. Everybody gave you a thumbs up. 5 and 5 makes 10. 1 and 6 makes 7. And 10 and 7 makes 17. Good job. All right, we're going to go with Gemma next. Are you ready? Shake them up. All right, Gemma, here are your numbers. 4 plus 1 plus 6 plus 3. 4 plus 1 plus 6 plus 3.
Oh, this is watching. Oh, this is brown. Why? It's green plus red makes brown. Sense? Good. Think of that. Remember.
How many, Gemma?
14.
14. Good job. Nice work.
Morning.
Hi, what's your name?
Miracle.
Hey, Miracle. I'm Miss Igrees. That's okay. Nice to see you. Welcome, welcome. Miracle, we're working today. If you have with our sea turtle book, if you can get that from your bag.
Like a job interview and you're having green hair.
Okay. All right, Keandra, are you ready? Now roll your dice. Here are your numbers. 3 plus 6 plus 2 plus 3.
Yeah, I see.
3 plus 6 plus 2 plus 3.
Hey, that's not nice. Yeah, 13.
You got it. Nice job. You guys are good with your math facts today. Absolutely. Okay, you can put your boards off to the side. We're going to switch over to our sea turtle books today. So if everybody could grab their sea turtle book. And I'm going to see if I can get Zuriel in. I just got a message from her mom. So give me 1 second, okay? All right, we're getting our books out. And let me see if I can get Zuriel in. Not sure if it's the right link or not. Let's see. What is our code? See her. Alright, so our class code is 798 048 6988 and password is 8Z5GFQ. Alright, we'll see if that helps to get Zuriel in. Alright. We are going to get started with our books, and we actually have 2 new friends today, so we're going to reread our story. So this week we've been learning all about sea turtles. So we're going to get started. This is a nonfiction text. There we go. We got Zuriel back, I think. There she is. Welcome. Glad to see you. We're in our books, okay? So for those 2 of you who just came in, we did do a little bit of math already, just to recap. We talked about faces, edges, and vertices of 3D shapes. So I'm just gonna do a quick recap. So here in my cube, we have faces, which are the sides, vertices, which are the corners, the marshmallows, and edges, which are my straws. The edges are where they connect, okay? So faces are sides, vertices are corners, edges are the lines that connect them. And now we're moving in to reading our sea turtle book. So if everybody has their book, I'm gonna open up. On the first page, this is called the title page. Who can tell me what is the author of our story? Who can unmute and tell me who's the author of our story? What is her or his name? Keandra?
Laura Marsh.
Yeah, Laura Marsh. So she wrote this story. Now, why do you think this story doesn't have an illustrator listed here? Why isn't there an illustrator? Kaden? You know? What does an illustrator normally do?
Work on the books?
They do. They actually draw the pictures. So why do you think that this turtle book doesn't have an illustrator? Did anybody draw these pictures?
No, because they took pictures.
Yeah, these are actual photographs. So that's one hint that tells you it's nonfiction because there's real photographs of the sea turtles. So nobody had to draw them. There is no illustrator. All right, so we're going to open up next to our table of contents. And this was our help to tell us yesterday when we had to identify the parts of our sea turtle. So if you can see here, we identified where his eye was, where his flippers are, his shell, and his scoots. His scoots are the parts of his sea turtle shell. Alrighty, so we're gonna get started with a sea turtle on page 4. Everybody with me? And we're gonna read aloud. I'm gonna read aloud as you guys follow along, okay? What hatches on land but spends its life in the sea? What starts out the size of a ping pong ball but can grow up to 7 feet long? It's, everybody read the next 3. What's the bottom of that page say?
Sea turtle.
A sea turtle, you got it. And let's look on that page at the puzzle, at the trick question on the top. It says, what do you call a sea turtle that can fly? What do you call a sea turtle that can fly? It's a joke on the top.
You both read really bad. You too?
Keandra?
A
A shellicopter. So that's a funny joke. All right, Ocean World. We'll go through the jokes today because I think those are funny for the 3rd day. Sea turtles are graceful swimmers in the water. Their flippers move like wings. Here's a turtle term. This is kind of like a sidebar to give us a definition. A reptile is a cold-blooded animal that lays eggs and has a backbone and scaly skin. And there's a picture of a leatherback sea turtle. That's your caption. Sea turtles travel the world in warm ocean waters. They are one of the few reptiles that live in the sea. The dark blue area shows where sea turtles travel. So if you take a look really close where we live, if we were to go to New Jersey, there could be sea turtles there. I was in New Jersey last week and my husband actually took a picture. We saw a sea turtle trying to crawl its way out through the sand out to the sea. So they're around here because now in New Jersey we do have warmer waters because it's the summertime. All right. And next on page 8, this is our diagram of our sea turtle. So it tells you all the different parts. A sleek body helps the turtle move easily through the water. The scales on its shell are called scoots. So if you look at all the different types of sea turtles, they might have different shaped scoots, okay? The back flippers steer the turtle as it swims. They are also used to dig nests in the sand. Scientists believe some sea turtles live 80 years or more, but they don't know for sure. Their large, powerful flippers act like paddles. Sea turtles can't pull their heads and limbs into their shells like land turtles can. And a sea turtle has lungs because it breathes air. A sea turtle holds its breath underwater. Okay, here we have another joke. What kind of jokes do sea turtles tell? What kind of jokes do sea turtles tell? Instead of the word hilarious, what does it say? Zuri? Yeah, shellarious ones, because they have a shell instead. All right, meet the turtles. There are 7 kinds of sea turtles in the world. Each has special features. The loggerhead is the most common sea turtle in the southeastern United States. It gets its name from its large head. The flatback has a flat body. It's the only sea turtle that doesn't live in U.S. waters. It lives near Australia. The olive ridley has an olive-colored shell. It's shaped like a heart. So if you just look at these 3 sea turtles, they all have different scutes. They all have different shaped pieces of their shell. And their colors are pretty different too. Here I'm on page 12. The hawksbill can't dive deep. It spends most of its time on the water's surface. The green turtle has a small head. Unlike other sea turtles, it goes ashore to warm itself in the sun. The Kemp's Ridley likes shallow waters. It's the world's most endangered sea turtle. And endangered means it's at risk of dying out. There's not too many left on our planet. The leatherback doesn't have a hard shell. Its skin is rubbery with small bones underneath. So you can see on the leatherback, they don't actually have scutes because on his shell, it's actually made of leather. It's not that hard shell like the typical turtle we see. Nest building. In this picture, it says female olive ridley sea turtles. A female sea turtle comes on land to lay her eggs. She usually returns to the same beach where she hatched. Scientists aren't sure how sea turtles know where to go. They think sea turtles know by instinct, which instinct is a behavior that animals are born knowing how to do. What's an instinct we have? What's something that you don't have to be taught when you're a baby? Babies just automatically know how to do it. What would be an instinct for a human? We have to be taught how to hold a pencil, how to write, how to read, how to add, but there's some stuff that we don't have to be taught. Can you think of any instincts for humans? I'll give you a hint. Keandra?
Breathing.
Breathing! We don't have to be taught how to breathe. We just know how to breathe automatically. That's a big one. What about this? Can you see what I'm doing? Zuri?
Blinking.
Yeah, blinking your eyes. That's something that we're not taught. We just do it automatically. We know how to pump our blood in our heart automatically. Those are our instincts. Good job. So our instincts are a little bit different than sea turtles. The sea turtle digs a hole with her back flippers. She lays her eggs and covers them with sand. Then she returns to the sea. All right, let's see. Here's our question. What did the egg say to the other egg? Hopefully this is close to when they're a hatchling. What did one egg say to the other egg? Zuri?
Let's get cracking.
Let's get cracking. They're ready to come out to sea. All right, page 16. Oh, baby. Crack. The eggs hatch after 50 to 70 days. So that's about 2 months, but it could be a little short of 2 months. So that's how long those sea turtles are in their eggs. Tiny turtles called hatchlings crawl out of their eggshells. And a hatchling is a young animal that has just come out of its egg. So here you can see a picture. The caption says it's a baby loggerhead sea turtle hatching. And they are less than only 3 inches big. So this picture here, this measurement shows you how big a baby sea turtle is when it hatches out of its egg. Very, very tiny. Hatchlings usually crawl toward the sea at night. In the dark, they are hidden from predators. The little turtles follow the brightest light. The line where the sky meets the sea is the brightest natural light on a beach. If the hatchlings follow this light, they will make it to the sea. A predator is an animal that eats other animals. Who would be a predator of a sea turtle? What animals do you think might eat those baby sea turtles? Kaden, I'm gonna unmute you. Go ahead. Oh, I might have muted you. Do it again, Kaden.
Sharks?
A shark could, sure. Especially the leatherback, because they don't have a hard shell. What else might be, Zuri?
Seagulls?
A seagull, sure could. Yep. Anybody else? What do you think? What about a human? Is a human a predator to a sea turtle? Do we eat sea turtles? I hope not. I certainly don't. All right. And our joke for this page is, what do you get when you cross a turtle and a porcupine?
Sea
Keandra?
slowpoke?
Slow poke, because turtles are slow, and we know porcupines, they poke ya. All right, big and small. The smallest sea turtles are the Kemp's Ridley and the Olive Ridley. Adults are about 2 feet long and weigh up to 100 pounds. The Kemp's Ridley sea turtle, so you can see that one has a very pointy snout there to eat its algae, and this person's measuring his shell. Then this picture you can see, holy moly, look at the lady sitting behind that turtle. Look how small she is, and she's an adult. The largest sea turtle is the leatherback. It can grow up to 7 feet long and weigh more than 2,000 pounds. That's about 10 men put together. So that's a big, big turtle. We wouldn't be able to move it if it got stuck on the beach. No way. Way too big. On the menu, let's see how turtles get so big. Maybe it's what they eat. Maybe they eat their Wheaties. I don't know. Munch, munch, what's for lunch? Most sea turtles eat plants and animals. They dine on algae and seagrasses. They also munch on crab and conchs. Algae is a simple non-flowering plant that does not have stems, roots, or leaves. Okay, so let's think back to yesterday's vocabulary. If a sea turtle eats plants and animals, does anyone know what we call someone who eats both plants and animals? I'll give you 2 hints. A carnivore eats only meat. A herbivore eats only plants. What was the third type? If they eat both plants and animals. Who remembers from yesterday? It started with an O. And it ends with vor, like the other ones. Zuri? It's an omnivore. Say that, omnivore. An omnivore eats both plants and animals. So that's like us. Most of us eat both plants, we might eat vegetables, we eat fruits, but we also eat meat sometimes for dinner too. So we are omnivores. Jellyfish are a favorite food for many sea turtles, but plastic trash can look like jellyfish in the ocean, and that spells trouble. Swallowing trash can hurt and even kill sea turtles, because if you get a plastic bag in your belly can't break it down like it does other foods. So it could get stuck in there and make that sea turtle very, very sick. That's part of the reason that they're so endangered. Danger. Trash isn't the only danger to sea turtles. Fishing nets and hungry animals can harm them too. Sometimes people even, oh, I missed the top. Building lights confuse hatchlings so they don't reach the sea. Sometimes people even step on sea turtle nests by accident. All right, joke time. What kind of phone does a sea turtle have? Miracle? You just gotta unmute. Hold on. Here we go. Click the unmute, Miracle. Go ahead.
A cell phone?
Yeah, instead of a cell phone, they have a shell phone. These jokes are silly. Sea Turtle Rescue on page 26. In 2010, a giant oil spill leaked into the Gulf of Mexico. That's down around Florida and Louisiana. Oil covered sea animals and washed up on beaches. Oil is dangerous to people and wildlife. If you look at the oil on this turtle in this picture, sometimes it's so bad they might drink it in accidentally and that could make them very sick. Or it could cover their faces and they can't get it off by themselves, so they might not be able to see, and that could be very dangerous. Or it could kill all the algae, and we know that sea turtles love to eat algae. So that's all the reasons that when there's an oil spill, they have to clean it up super, super quick to help save them. Page 28. People in charge of a sea turtle rescue program in Louisiana saved many sea turtles. The rescuers cleaned the turtles and gave them medicine. People cared for them until they could return to the sea. So once they got cleaned from the oil, they couldn't put them right back because they still had to clean the water. So they cleaned them and then they kept them for a little bit to keep them safe until the water was safe again. And you can see it looks like they're using Dawn dishwashing soap. That's what you use for your pots and pans when they're greasy, to help get all the grease and oil off of the sea turtles. And lastly, our safekeeping. You don't need to work at a sea turtle hospital to help sea turtles. Here are a few things you can do to keep them safe. Number 1, pick up trash on the beach. And we know if it's our trash or somebody else's, we try to pick it up and throw it away. Number 2, don't release balloons into the air. They often pop and end up in the sea, and a sea turtle might think it's a different animal, or it might eat that balloon, and that would not be safe. Number 3, turn out lights that could be seen from the beach. We don't want to trick the babies into thinking the water's in a different spot, so we want to make sure we turn off the lights at our hotel so that the babies can make it out to the sea. Number 4, read beach warning signs. Avoid turtle nesting areas. If those turtle shells are less than 3 inches, it's very easy for someone to accidentally step on them and break them. So it's very important to watch for signs so you know where the nests are. And number 5, tell your classmates what you've learned about sea turtles. And that one is going to be our journal today. So before we do that, I have 2 special words to see if we can think the difference between a fact and an opinion. A fact is something that's true that you can prove from this book. For example, let's see. A fact is that sea turtles are less than 3 inches long. How do I know that? Because I read it here in my book. An opinion. Sea turtles are pretty small. Is that true all the time? When they get really, really big, is that true? They can get really, really big, so that's just my opinion. So facts are things that you can prove. Maybe you read it in a book, maybe you read it in a dictionary. Those are things that are true, facts, nonfiction. But opinions are what people think about something. Sea turtles are very nice. That's my opinion. I don't know, maybe some sea turtles aren't very nice. But an opinion is something you think about it. A fact is something you can prove because you read it. All right, so those are 2 different things. Let's see. Next up, the last question or the last vocabulary help that we talked about was tell your classmates what you've learned about sea turtles. So today for your journal on the Google Classroom, it's going to say one thing. What's one fact that you learned about sea turtles? So it's a good thing you have your book. You can write right out of your book. You can give me facts and find evidence from here. Your favorite thing you learned about a sea turtle. So for our 2 new friends, for Caden and Miracle, when you guys go on to the Google Classroom today, I think Caden, you might have already even written it if I'm looking. Let me see. Today's Wednesday. Sea turtles. Did anybody turn it in? Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, maybe that was yesterday's. Okay, so for today's, the question says, let me read it to you guys so you know what it says. When you click on the Google slide, the first one just says Sea Turtles Journal Day 3. And the second slide, it always takes a minute for my computer to load, because I have one computer here, I have a video, my phone over here, and another computer over here. All right, it says, we learned a lot about sea turtles. What was your favorite fact about sea turtles? So try to make sure it's something that you read from the book or you heard me say, so that you know it's a fact from the book, okay? So you can type anything. Same as always, if you want to add a picture to your journal, you can. You just always click insert image, and then Google search image, and you can add it that way if you want, okay? Does anybody have questions for today? Keandra, did you get your rocks yesterday? Good, okay, cool. All right, so tomorrow, we're gonna be finishing up learning about sea turtles, but we're also going to be doing our rock painting. So you guys probably either have this white kit or a yellow kit. They're all the same. It's just they came in different sizes. So we're gonna use our rock painting kits tomorrow to try to make a sea turtle rock for either our garden or for our bedroom. So as long as you have your rock painting kit for tomorrow and your book, we'll be good to go. Anybody have questions? All good? All right, so I'm gonna post today's video in case you wanna check it out again later. I also posted your journal question in the Google Classroom, as well as a read aloud. Today's read aloud is about Diggery-Doo again, so I hope you guys enjoyed the Diggery stories on YouTube, and I'll see you tomorrow at noon. Alrighty? Bye guys, see you tomorrow.